It'll take too long to get through the first two, but man, the last one's a doozy.
Here we go.
You're listening to Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast.
Oh my God. Listen up, ragamuffins. We encourage each and every one of you to drink deeply from the cup that is Fair Riverdale.
Your hosts, Jordan, Cliff, and Seth.
Hello. Brian and Ka-Pow. Welcome to Thistle House. Shove it, Hal.
The devil went down to Riverdale and he was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind and he was way behind, but KPP is willing to make a deal. We're back with more Riverdale talk, and my name is Jordan. Hello.
I'm Cliff Barnes.
Seth.
Rivervale.
Rivervale.
We're still in the Vale.
Yeah. And at this point, I was like, what the heck is going on? I think we ended
Just
the last
point.
Well,
Normally,
we were 2 episodes into the Vale, and I was like, where have we gone wrong? Like TT just walked into the swamp or something.
yeah.
She's the weeping woman, yes. Before we jump in, we have an announcement. The CW officially announced the renewal of several new shows. There's some still hanging in the balance. But as of this moment, Riverdale is coming back for a season 7. More new Dale on the way.
Set off your bombs and everything and your fireworks but when I heard this earlier in the week, I was a little surprised. I was like, wow, we gotta keep doing And then I went back and watched episode 100. I had not watched it yet. 99 and 100. I had not watched them yet, and I realized why. Like, I realized that how do you not, after that, how do you not renew it?
This train's still rolling.
So anybody that is only up to date with where we are right now, getting ready to review episode 98, if you haven't seen episode 100, stop the tape. Stop the tape and catch up, because I was not caught up until just a couple hours ago, and I'm still trying to come down off that high. So we're going to break it all down.
Well, we've had plenty of time to watch these, so I feel like our listeners have been raring to go. They want to hear our discussion about this. So this was season 6, started with this 5-episode kind of mini-series.
Event.
Kind of an alternate reality, Rivervale, kind of a Twilight Zone-y horror story thing. So we've already talked about the first 2 of those. So we are on to season 6, episode 3 at the moment.
Let's see if we can make heads or tails of my notes. So we get the Jug Dub at the beginning. He's always coming in talking. I remember we got an old folk tale called The Devil's Holiday.
A good story. It's called The Devil's Holiday. And in it,
the devil visits a small town in different guises
in order to collect lost souls and sow the seeds of destruction and despair. Yeah, here it is. Now, there are many different versions of this folktale, but in the one I'm imagining, the name of the town is Rivervale, and the devil that visits it can take any number of guises.
So Pops, Jim, is broke. And Pops says, pay next time.
No, you keep that and pay me next time, Jim.
Because he's just a good guy.
Thank you, Pop.
Pops
God bless you.
cares about the guy coming in. He needs,
You have the biggest heart I know, Grandpa.
I don't know about that.
There's Tabitha. She's just like, you got a big heart. And guy out the window scares Pop and has a heart attack. He has a heart attack. Poor Pop. He's got a big heart. That's what happened. Explodes. So at the Pembroke, because the Open's going to be the biggest thing in the Vale since what, Cliff?
I don't remember.
No, you don't need to remember. What's the biggest thing since what?
I'm lost.
Maple syrup!
Oh.
Where do you think we are? Jeez.
See, it's been so long, I've forgotten.
Over at the Cooper's in FBI athletic wear, Juggy Betty gets the call. The lights flicker, and Glenn says they got TBK. They got the trash bag killer. But we're seeing some lights flicker and some weird stuff starting to happen.
Unless we not forget Archie's dead. We don't have to deal with Archie.
Oh yeah, that's right. So. Yeah, they killed him off in the first episode of this thing, and hasn't come back.
He ate that sin pie and was no more.
At Pembroke, they're watching TV and they see the thunder on RIVW News, calling the casino Babylonia Casino is an abomination, and the town is damned and doomed. Well, sounds bad. At Cooper's, she's talking about it's going to lead to drunks and whoremongers. Veronica's trying to tell her it's a legit business. Calm down. She's like, I can't calm down. I'm the thunder.
Yeah, this is like her back to that original season 1, like
season
self-righteous.
1, straight out of season 1, absolutely. Except she's now she's on TV instead of the newspaper. So we got Casino, Reggie's, the staff, and he just looks at this shit. Now remember, this is where they were talking about before. They're showing both conversations. They show Thunder getting mad. Veronica's like, it's legit. Then you show Reggie talking to the staff, and he goes, okay, none of what we do here is legit. It was very funny. I remember thinking this was hilarious. And Veronica's like, we're follow all the rules to the letter. And Reggie's like, we got tipped roulette wheels, phony dice, magnetized slot machines. I was like, who calls them phony dice? They're loaded dice. What are you talking about? Phony dice.
This is Rivervale. They got phony dice.
Veronica's like, there's going to be limits on drinks. Reggie says, ply them with the booze. Got gaming control counts chips. Scoop a third off the top of the chips. Use it to pay the politicians, banks, and union leaders. Like, he's not messing around. He just lays it out like it is. So at the hospital, we got Lou Cypher. I like that. Lou Cypher. Visits Tabitha.
Yeah.
So, gotta love a pun in there. Visits Tabitha. He wants Pop's soul. Terrence Tate.
I wrote down, did we know that? Did we ever know?
I don't think we
his
knew
real
that.
name?
I'd never heard Terrence Tate, but of course he's a TT.
They're
all TTs.
Yeah.
Who else's soul would you want in Riverdale? Pops has got to have the best
one
soul.
with the biggest heart. Tack or no. Tabitha says, not for sale. Well, we find out that his dad, Pops' dad, sold his soul for the diner. And he gave his soul to save. Pops gave his soul to save great-grandpops' soul. Now it's Tabitha's turn. It's like, what do you get out of this, Lou Cypher? You're not taking any of these souls. You're just taking the promise. When they die, that's when you get them. That's when you take the soul. He does not know how to run a business. So they better decide soon because his heart could give out at any minute. I think they decide the soul for the diner. Is that what they decide? I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Try to think too hard about any of this. So Lou Cypher talks to Kev.
What if I say that I can make that happen for you? Fame, money, being a star. Why don't I give you a taste? Then we can discuss the finer details.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone.
Says he's at the casino, he's going to make him a star.
Sign.
Yeah, immediately.
Kev takes no time. I said, Kev, his soul already belongs to like 15 other cults and religions.
Yes.
So if you put a piece of paper in front of him, he will sign.
Yes. He's like, oh, wait. I think I have the...
You were going to be finishing your
I think I took a picture of the contract.
Then you're off to New York for your 6-week run of the
I gotta look at it. It's worth
Hugh
it.
Jackman.
I'm sorry, thanks. What are you doing?
Very funny. Kev, I'm Finn, your manager and your boyfriend. Typically, I tell you your schedule, and then we go have amazing sex in the Babylonian champagne suite. Remember?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Of course I do. Right.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Agreement that Kevin Keller do hereby make over to the bearer of this agreement all my right title and appurtenance in the shadow called my soul. This contract applies to the eternity of time. Death cannot unbind, nor the unnatural forces of the world reach the agreement made here. This contract cannot be disputed. Any matters of questioning must be taken up between the soul bearer and the soul taker, without condition or qualification. The soul sign below belongs to the soul taker without regard to circumstance for all eternity. And he just puts his Kevin Keller on there.
I would have Archie's mom read that over and make sure that the legal stuff is correct.
I was like, Kev, he do not care. He gets up there and starts singing Wayne Newton. Doe in the Carlton. It's not unusual. Then we get Finn. They call him Finn now. Fangs is now his manager / boyfriend in this like. This is one of those scenes where he's singing. He hasn't really signed it yet. It's like you see the future, the past, all at once. Everything's happening all at once. But he's like his manager / boyfriend. He tells him his schedule. Then they do it in the champagne suite.
Oh, man. I got a note on that. In the comics, Fang's first name was either Edward or Fred, depending on the story. So I don't know where they got Finn, but...
It's a lot more updated than Fred. Nobody goes by Fred. That's an old name. That's like Dick. So Lou has a book of names, and you see there's like checking them off. So he checks off Kev. There's still T. Tate, Betty, Reg, and J. Jones. So T. Tate, just depends which T. Tate he can get to agree to this. Lou is winning. Blackjack. V shuts him down. He tells her he'll get a soul Saturday night. Veronica tells Reggie. Reggie gets the money they need from the devil for his soul and says, you can take this guy. I don't know what that was about. What guy? I don't know. Anyway, we get to the trash bag killer interview with Betty. She gets first crack at him, as always. She wants to know if absolute evil exists. That's her question. That's the first. That's what you ask the trash bag killer.
Yeah.
Does absolute evil exist? That's what I want to know, because that will tell me something. He says yes.
Well, Betty, there are several schools of philosophy on the matter.
He says yes, and part of you is 100% evil.
Yes. This is like Sex Panther. 60% of the time, every time.
That's right. Part of you is 100% evil. I'm going to need the percentage on what part of her is 100% evil. Wow. We'll go with 60%. I like that. We'll just go with that.
Wow.
He says you are caked in it. Well, that's weird, but okay. Betty goes and scrubs like Cassie in Euphoria. That's what my notes said. It was timely referenced.
Yeah.
The episode must have come out around the time I watched this. But she scrubs down like Cassie in Euphoria, and that's everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Wow.
that means you give yourself a good scrub. She calls Glenn. And he says, "That's not the trash bag killer. What are you talking about?" And again, it's this weird world we're living in right now. To hospital, Pop says, "Don't sell the diner for my soul. Lou will use it to collect lost souls that come there. So he'll get a bunch of souls if he gets the diner." That was his trick. I mean, he is a good businessman. So Veronica calls Lou with a counter proposal. Offers a different soul. We don't know what she's talking about this time. Jug talks to him. He's not going to sell a soul for this Lou interview. Why? I don't know why he wants to interview. But Lou says, "Well, one, okay, you have two choices here. You can either get the interview and success, but never write again, or get mind-blowing devil tell all, but you have to keep it a secret. But you'll have your creative juices back. So I'll tell you a bunch of stuff you can't talk about, and you're going to want to, but you'll have creative juices, or interview, success once, never write again." So he says, interview first, decision after.
And I like that his typewriter is all duct taped back together from the previous episode. Of all the Sam and Diane nonsense where they almost killed each other. She wrecked his typewriter and he duct taped it back together.
Excellent. So then I was very happy and excited to see return of a long lost character here that is the soul that Veronica is willing to give up. It's good old Nick St. Clair.
Darling Nicky St. Clair. He's a senator now. Senator St. Clair.
Of course he is.
Oh, great. Well, this actor that was, I remember him on The Good Wife. He played the son on there. He's a good actor. He's perfect for Riverdale, and they use him well, I think. Then we get the interview's over. Jug interviewed him. Universe's mysteries revealed. He knows everything. So he said, "I got to publish it. I got to do it." So he does it, not even thinking about the consequences. At the casino, yep, Senator Nick is married. Well, whatever happens in Babylonia stays in Babylonia. And she's like, Veronica's like trying to schmooze him here to get his soul. She wants to know his
we kind of glossed over why Veronica's desperate here.
Yeah, what?
It's because Reggie sold her soul.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I couldn't make heads or tails of.
In the best prank yet.
Oh,
he sold his wife.
It's a hilarious prank. You're never gonna believe this. This is so good.
Right. So Veronica's on the hook thanks to Reggie. So Veronica's got to get the contract to someone else.
So she's gonna put it on to Nick St. Clair, which is perfect. So she's getting him to list his sins. You know, he's like, he doesn't pay taxes. He drinks and drives. You know, several times a week. 3 hit and runs. He has harassments, affairs. Lou's like, I love it. I'll take this guy. He's great. So actually, this is when we find out, I think, because she thought she was saving Reggie, but they found out it was her soul that was doing it. So now she's ticked that Reggie did that. And then we get...
That's Reggie.
Yep. So,
like this entire episode from the get-go, they really tried to paint him as a terrible, terrible guy. Reggie.
Oh, yeah. I have here that the TBK killer talks as Hal, ? I don't know. I don't remember exactly what happened there, but back at the casino, Reggie says Lou didn't want his soul. And Veronica's like, well, I didn't sign a contract. And he's like, you know, those weekly invoices, zoinks. And the lights flicker again. So, renegotiation? How about Alice? So, the Associated Press picks up Jug's story and his agent begs to have him back. He's like, yeah, I want you right now. That's ain't gonna work. At Pop's, Jim, the poor guy, he wants to wash some dishes for some soup. And Tabitha says, no need. So then we get Raphael. So is this an angel or what is this? Tells her the diner's
yeah.
Cool but crude, I know.
Yeah, diner's going to be in a battle, and he gives her holy water. Right. Yeah. I think it was holy water at this point. I don't know whether it ends up being that or not. So Veronica offers Thunder money for a donation. Just sign here. So then she says, stop. Don't do it. She feels bad. She can't do it to her.
He's not as awful as Reggie.
Yeah. So Jug can't even type a dark and stormy night. He can't even type that. Easiest, most typical opening line. He can't even type that. He's worthless now, but he's going to have fame. Trash bag killer says Betty is the whore of Babylon. Polly is in hell too. Betty's like, no way. And then we hear Polly's voice coming out of the trash bag killer. Maybe. Betty stabs him with scissors a lot and then cuts off his mask. I was expecting like her own face or something, it's because everything was getting so weird. Instead, it's Glenn. It was Glenn. What's happening? Jug wants to renege on the deal. He says, sure, sign here. Signs his soul away so he can get his writing skills back, I guess. So there's only 3 left on the list.
I'm gonna marry the night. I won't give up on my life. I'm a warrior queen, live passionately tonight. I'm gonna marry the night.
So Veronica performs at midnight. She does Mama, Mama, Marry the Night.
Marry the Night. Yeah.
Marry the Night. Mama, Mama, Marry the Night.
So this is my thought. She only has a few hours left with a soul.
Yeah.
On this earthly plane, and she spends it choreographing a very complicated dance and like rehearsals. And
she's accepting it. She's getting in the mood.
This is
Marry the Night.
This is her swan song performance.
Yeah.
I guess so.
I was all about it. I was like, this is the way it goes down.
I thought this was actually the best part of the episode.
Yeah,
this was the episode that I just really glossed over. Like, it did not do much for me.
That's why I stopped watching.
Yeah.
I finished this episode. I was like, I can take a break. So then we get Pop's back at work.
I was so pleased to hear that you'd accepted my offer, Tabitha. And how nice to see you on the mend, Terrence.
I wanted him here.
Well, we all need to sign anyway.
Pops and Tabitha sign a contract to give him the diner. The bulldozers are coming tomorrow, the guy says.
But before we do, I want to make sure that this contract is ironclad. And that after we sign, my grandfather's soul is free and clear. Forever.
Cross my heart and hope to die. Terrence, will you get us started?
So they say, let's have a milkshake. Oh, they're tricking him. Sure. Does it taste good?
What will you do with Pops now?
The bulldozers will be here in the morning.
If this is Pop's last night, then I want a milkshake to remember it by.
Delightful idea. Make enough of 3.
And I thought, they put holy water in it. But no, now I remember seeing my notes. It was not holy water. Do you remember what it was, Cliff?
Was it
maple syrup?
It was.
He wishes. It was tears that the Virgin Mary shed at the crucifixion. Of course course it was. It wasn't just holy water.
What else would it be? I mean,
it was actual tears the Virgin Mary shed the crucifixion.
A little off.
Oh, well, yeah, that would be the secret ingredient I added.
What secret ingredient?
Tears that the Virgin Mary shed at the crucifixion.
He hurls.
Pops is consecrated ground then, right? It's holy.
Yeah.
It's a holy place.
So he hurls. He throws that up.
My
I don't
guardian
care whose
angel.
tears are in it. I
And
don't
since
want to
we have
drink it.
consumed the tears as well, we are now protected by their holy properties.
Good idea.
Oh, yes. About that.
Unless it's liberals. I forgot people do drink liberal tears, I guess. Anyway, Pops boots him
Why don't
out.
you get the hell out of our town?
I'm gonna marry the night. I'm gonna burn a hole in the road. I'm gonna marry the night. Leave nothing on these streets to explore. Marry the night. Oh, marry the night.
He's consecrated now. Get the hell out of here. So Jug starts typing, and he types Jughead Jones is damned for all eternity. No mistakes. He smiles. He can write again. Betty's in front of the fire in a rocking chair, of course, and the FBI calls to ask about Glenn because.
oh yeah.
That's it. She's the only one that can know where he is.
Didn't she?
Glenn is under the floorboard.
Yeah, she buried him under the house or something.
This show.
And the call, the agent who called was Agent Foster, going along with the Silence of the Lambs motif we've been following.
Oh, yeah.
Agent Foster.
So Veronica says she made a new deal with Cypher for a weekly skin. Reggie says, "You beat the devil." Of course she did. It's Veronica, you know. There's a knock at the door. It's for you, Reggie. And she says, "Remember signing the liquor delivery this morning? Go, or he'll drag you out like a little bitch." And we get the jug dub. If Rivervale is going to be the final battleground for good versus evil, is any soul safe? And you see the Riverdale sign. They're doing this a lot. This time it says, "Welcome to Rivervale, a hell of a town."
Hell of a
so that was
town.
98. Hell of a town.
So
now,
not the peak of this, but you know, it's had its moments.
laying groundwork here. So now we got chapter 99. What's it called?
The Witching Hour.
And
Or
this
hours.
is like, again, this isn't solid gold, but I got to tell you, it was some good. It was like me feeding crow to any doubters out there from 4 seasons ago that dare doubt my theory that Cheryl was a dad blamed witch.
This was probably the most hyped, the most the most newsworthy, with Kiernan Shipka showing up as Sabrina. I saw a lot of press releases, I saw a lot of articles written about it, like, oh, they're finally crossing over. So this was supposed to be the payoff for all of this. And, let's see.
The doors open into Thornhill. We get Jug and an ascot.
Would you look at the time? It's 7 a.m., and the women of Thornhill, past and present, are waking up across the decades. In the here and now, Cheryl Blossom wakes up from a dreamless sleep. As 65 years ago, Poppy Blossom stirs awake in the same room, in the same bed. And while further back still, Abigail Blossom opens her eyes to meet the day. Three Blossom women. One story, echoing across time, burning as bright and eternal as a comet's tail in the night sky.
Thornhill's haunted by ghosts, memories, curses, perhaps all three. We're going to get 7 a.m. on this day, 65 years apart, 3 different times throughout this episode, 3 different timelines. We get the now, Cheryl wakes up. Then we get 1957, 65 years ago, Poppy Blossom in the same room, waking up. She's got a fringe. She had the style at the time.
Oh man, she was styling.
And then 1892, 65 years before that, we get Abigail.
So I tried to do a little math here.
Yeah.
In that we're 1892. The Civil War ended in 1865.
Yeah. I noticed that was a slight discrepancy also.
So we're in the 1890s, and the Civil War is still going on.
Going strong.
Hey, it's Rivervale, baby.
Going strong.
Okay.
That was ridiculous. I totally agree. They all have little touches different because of the time differences, you know. But it's so funny because this show thrives on never having you be able to feel comfortable what the time it is, what decade, what style, because they could do anything. So I thought it funny they were trying to specifically have styles. It's like, no, you guys have already screwed that all up, you know. But the 50s one has like
everything looks like the 50s. Like,
yeah,
you can't say, look, now it's the 50s.
Yeah, it's always that's their style. Is the 50s.
Well, they
did. So now when they put it back in the 50s,
they put a
got
hat.
like a big makeup case.
Yeah,
you know.
They put a hat on all the actors throughout the show. Whenever it's the 1950s, they all wear hats.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So
we're tracking Bailey's Comet, right? That's what it comes every 65 years. So that's what's delineating our timelines here. We're waiting on Bailey's Comet.
Bailey's Comet, you got it.
Okay.
So the students can watch it, which the students today and the students in the past wear the same uniform. That white with the halter thing or whatever, but I thought that was fun. But Cheryl, Mistress Blossom, she's not gonna be able to go up on the North Hill and watch it tonight because she's gonna be doing certain rituals, think, to help Nana transition to the afterlife. Which, where this goes, I did not expect. I didn't see this coming. You know,
and you'll expect even less that it still matters.
Yeah.
Later.
Yeah.
So this episode is important. It's not. A lot of these are what if stories. So this is one you need to key in on certain plot lines that are still going to impact latter episodes.
Also, before we go any further, I just want to point out I love the fact that when you quote something now, you do the dink dink.
Yeah, I do that for you.
He started doing it sarcastically to make fun of you, and now he's just incorporating.
No, it's always.
No, it's ingrained.
I only do it when I'm around Cliff, and I do it. Let's see. Are you sure Roseanne Blossom reads about Poppy? They read about Poppy, yeah. Poppy meets with Tabitha, gives her some herbs to poison her husband. It's not Tabitha. It's the Tabitha in the past.
Right.
So she was Tammy. I'm sorry, Tammy. She gives her herbs to poison her husband so she can. I love these 50s names too. But anyways, then we get all the way back to Abigail, and we got TT there. She's Thomasina. She had pox when she was a babe.
They both did.
She's still a babe. She's hired. She's from Greendale. That didn't seem to matter, but they put that detail in, and I appreciate it. And then everything's clicking. So now the candles are lighting in each timeline, and they kind of grin like, "We got it. The spell's working. We're cooking." Back from commercial, we got Abigail teaches etiquette in that timeline, a very woman's work type thing. You gotta learn your manners. TT comes walking in. Nope, it's comet time. We're doing some different stuff. We gotta teach them man stuff. They've got all the power. Well, then we get in the 50s, Poppy Seed Blossom. That's her middle name, Poppy Seed Blossom.
All right, ladies, if you could please take your seats. So, for this week's salon, I was thinking maybe we discuss Bailey's Comet, which I just read will be passing over our little town later this year. What do we think?
They're having a little tea party with Bitsy, which is a nickname for Betty. Yeah. Tammy is Tabitha.
We should have a viewing party. Set up on the roof of Pops.
That's a swell idea, Tammy. Though I can't imagine Jack would be very interested in a comet.
Oh, by the way, Poppy, guess who's working the diner's register these days?
Curious timing, this comet. Didn't the Soviets just launch Sputnik?
Wait, is that the missile I keep hearing about?
It's the Russian space satellite, Velma, for spying on us Americans.
You're absolutely right, Bitsy.
Can they really do that?
Oh, by the way, did you hear? Wendy Weatherby was just arrested for conspiracy.
No.
Yes.
Wendy's as red-blooded American as the rest of us.
Well, apparently now she's just red.
My question is, are our children safe at school?
Ladies, no need to fret. My opinion is, if people discuss their different ideas in the privacy of their own homes, well, what's the harm?
Poppy Seed Blossom. Do you really mean that?
I truly do. I suppose I'm just not a fan of witch hunts of any kind.
Bitsy's not happy with Jack, which is Jughead, and she can't get a divorce. He wants to have another kid, and she doesn't know she wants one. And
Thank you for letting me stay behind, Poppy. I promise I won't take up too much of your time.
Oh, pooh, Bitsy. Time spent with you is always the highlight of my week. But what's going on?
The truth is, I'm not happy in my marriage, Poppy.
I've wondered.
Jack thinks the answer is to have another child. Even though my first pregnancy was... Well, you remember how hard that was on me.
Have you considered divorce?
Divorce? Jack? No, I couldn't, Poppy. Jack's Catholic.
Well, maybe it's just about not getting pregnant right now. Have you ever looked into birth control?
Oh, I could possibly ask Dr. Curdle for something like that.
Not to worry. I have just the thing.
Tells her to get birth control, but she can't ask Dr. Curdle for that. There's a little Dr. Curdle call out.
Which implies witchcraft is less creepy than Dr. Curdle.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let's do witchcraft rather than going to this weird doctor. That's just an important baseline to establish.
Take the special ginger root from my garden. A few flakes every day in the morning will make sure you don't start baking a bun in the oven.
Poppy, I'm so grateful to you for listening and understanding. What would I do without you?
And then Abigail and Thomasina make out.
Chubby.
And then we get
That's
Poppy.
kissing cousins. That's not right.
Yeah, that threw me off because that's the first time we've seen
But
that.
it's a different timeline, different rules.
It's Betsy. So it's not a
Lesbians weren't as picky back in the 1950s.
Oh my, what the devil am I doing? I'm sorry, Poppy.
Oh, Bitsy, everything's fine. Nothing bad happened. Everything will work out. You'll see. Okay?
Okay.
Poppy and Velma, Veronica, she wants to spice things up with the mister. She gives her a copy of Kama Sutra. It's the bee's knees. And also gives her a little sprinkle for her husband. A little sprinkle of something. So Abby and Thomasina did it. They definitely did it, and they woke up and knock at the door. It's Constable Kevin Keller.
Oh man.
Actually, Kirk Keller in this timeline. And he's looking for TT because she's a murderess. And Abigail's like, go away, we have the pox.
And she lets out this horrendous cough as she does it. I was just like, where in the world did that come from?
Then we get a knock at the door in the 50s timeline, and it's Jack and Bitsy. Bitsy spilled the beans about kissing on Poppy, and Jack tells her to butt out or I'll kill you. Quit talking to my wife. She doesn't like you. And Bitsy's like, yeah, you were confused or whatever. So then we find out about TT, Thomasina. She was in an arranged marriage. He beat her, and it was going to be him or her, so she killed him. And Abigail says, stay with me forever, you know. So in the now, with Cheryl and Nana, Britannia comes in. Britta, you know, she comes in. What's the secret? And Nana's like, let the child stay. So Britta gets to hang. Then we get Poppy in the 50s. Reggie and the bros are mad about their wives. And they come there, and yes, probably when they had hats on, like you're saying, to tell you what time it is, you know. Want Poppy to leave Rivervale. Kirk Keller warns her that she knows what he does for a living. And this time we didn't know what he did. I was like, what's this threat? So, back in the Civil War, after effects, when it was still like pocket battles, apparently. Finn Fogarty, soldier, shows up. He has news of Abigail's brother. James was killed. And he has a letter from him. It says, dying wish for you to marry me. I was like,
it only took me 30 years to get here and get to this.
It says, war makes men strange bedfellows. TT's like, he probably forged it. I was like, yep. So back in the 50s, Poppy is at Pops, which is very fitting. Poppy's at Pops. And the whole town doesn't like her. Tammy's like, what do you want? What did she order, Cliff? Tammy waited on her. The whole town's sitting there hating on her, but she orders her dinner. What's she order?
Oh gosh, this is when and Tammy tells her it's to go. She wants to take. She's not allowed to eat there.
She's asked her, but what did she order?
I don't remember what she ordered. Was it pancakes?
No. You can get those to go. You can get those to go. We know that. They have a to-go box special.
They had boxes for those.
I need 95 cold pancakes.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, that would have been fun. No, she orders a patty melt with a side of coleslaw and a glass of buttermilk, her usual.
I do remember the patty melt now that you said that.
Yeah. The glass of buttermilk got me because I remember I have flashbacks of accidentally pouring myself glasses of that repeatedly at my grandparents. Just kept grabbing the jug of milk, pouring it, and spitting it in this thing because it was awful. She's like, I think I'll eat here. So she eats there. Even though, and Jack and Bitsy get up and leave, and they've got their little girl with them. So she pushed it too far. Here comes Kirk. You're a subversive, he calls her, and a communist sympathizer. So it's not true.
Right.
Not true. Back in the fur past, we got Abby and TT find evidence against Phineas Fogarty, and they got really pretty blatant evidence. We got a wax seal for the
Blossoms.
Family. We got a forgery practice. We have objects of the occult. Though.
Oh man.
TT says he's not just a scoundrel, he's a warlock. Wow. Then they find something real weird. Death portraits. Pictures of the dead. That he's sat up in chairs after he's killed them or whatever. So
olden times were weird. You know,
I don't think they really took.
Yeah, they did really take those.
Sitting in a chair?
Yeah, they would prop.
That actually does sound familiar.
They would prop up the dead bodies. Sometimes they would, paint eyes on their eyelids.
Oh yeah,
people.
That is weird.
They would pose with them and
Not
stuff.
everything's just a weird Riverdale episode. Yeah. Some of it's real life.
Some of it's real life. It's hard to tell what's what.
So he comes in the door holding an axe. Women, I'm back with supper. Go get. Oh, he goes upstairs. Finds them. Yeah, I got pancakes to go. What would have been there? Pop's Pub or something like that.
Yeah.
We get up there. He catches him. She's got a knife. Tries to kill him or whatever. He holds the axe to her neck, to Thomasina's neck, and tells Abigail she's got to go to town, get the vicar to marry us, while I lock this saucy sapphic wench in the chapel. Oh, is there any other kind of sapphic wenches? So back in the 50s, Kirk says, "Oh, I see here you went to Russia." Well, that's not great evidence. You shouldn't have went to Russia if you're,
Yeah, not in the 1950s.
But that happens, and we know it does because we saw the Queen's Gambit, and she says, "I was in a chess tourney." I was like, "What? I hope Kirk watched the Queen's Gambit. He might buy that." So then he says, "You read banned books and use contraceptives," which is wow.
No,
there's no getting around it. Sign this confession and admit you're a commie. Let's see what this.
I think they say something about Sputnik too.
I don't know. So here we go. Confession. I, poppy seed blossom. There's a pen laying over this, so I can't get every word. Having sympathetic views of communism and subversive something, confess to having unsegregated gatherings. Oh, because she was having the women over to talk about stuff. Where topics of communism and atheism and insurrectionism were discussed. I feel like we're going to get other people signing these. There's a lot of people signing these right now.
Mm-hmm.
I confess to sharing subversive literature and other media, such as music, films, and something with these attending my gatherings. I confess to sharing alien substances with those in attendance. I confess to interfering with the nuclear family. I confess to sharing knowledge and devices which would interfere with the holy union of marriage and a wife's duties to her husband. I confess to listening to jazz music.
Oh, no.
I confess to not being able to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I confess to traveling to Russia. I confess to reading Das Kapital and other writings of Karl Marx. I didn't know about the jazz music and the Pledge of Allegiance. She deserves everything she gets. Wow. So we want her to sign that. She's like, "I'm doing this for womankind." Bitsy shows up. Yeah, she's talking to her. She's like, "I'm pregnant. But it's exactly what Jack and I need right now, And she's like, "No, I thought we talked about this." 9 months later, we jump 9 months.
Yeah. She's been in that cell.
Right. So 9 months after Bitsy left, Jack comes to the jail to get Poppy because she's getting ready. Bitsy's going to have this baby. So also at this same time, this is where they lost me. This is where they lost me. Because I thought it was all about being the night of the comet, and it was all the same day or whatever. So maybe I'm just missing something, but this is 9 months later. Abigail, okay, back in the far past, Abigail's getting ready to marry, so that would have been the same day for them.
Yeah.
Not 9 months later. Poppy visits Bitsy for the birth. Poppy's delivering the baby. The comet comes. It's a baby girl. Baby girl comet. What was his name? Bailey? I guess it could be a girl. Poppy gives Betty something for when the time is right. Bitsy gives Bitsy something for when the time is right. One of them substances. Then in the 1800s, we get Finn says, Abigail, come fulfill your wifely duties. She kills him with an axe.
Yeah.
She bursts in, kills him with an axe, and finds Thomasina posed as a death portrait. And he gets up after being slaughtered with an axe, which I guess he's a warlock.
It's a warlock thing to do.
They at least get up once. So he gets up, comes in there, and the comet comes, and he curses her to be unloved and alone. And then he dies. And then Kirk in the 50s takes Polly from the birthing time and takes her for house arrest at Thornhill. So she's got to stay there too.
Yeah, they promised if she went that she wouldn't have to go back to that cell.
Yeah.
And then after the birth or whatever, they're like, they handcuff her again, and they're like, she's like, but you promised, and he says, you're going on house arrest.
Yep. And Bitsy poisoned Jack. See that?
1 year later.
Then, oh, really? Okay. Then we get a doorbell rings in our time, and Nana says, "Is she finally here?" It's Sabrina.
What we've all been waiting to hear.
Oh,
Is she finally here? This was at the 50-minute mark of the episode. I checked. So after all the hype, we got less than 10 minutes of Sabrina. We did get a wind machine.
Yeah.
And Season of the Witch blaring as an intro.
That was good.
Good intro all around.
Look what the black cat drug in, Cheryl says. Anything for a fellow witch. This is where I was, I wrote here something about pat myself on the back and all this, that type of stuff. Then they go up to Nana and...
Nana, Britta, there's someone I'd like you to meet.
Hey, ladies. What's happening?
Sabrina is a dear old friend, and she's come here to help us with our little ceremony.
How do you know each other?
Oh, we have a lot of mutual friends, share a lot of the same interests.
Sabrina explains
Our covens are in the same softball league.
Their covens are in the same softball league.
Sabrina is the first person who told me about performing a transference.
Yes,
we're going to do the
indeed.
transference.
My cousin Ambrose taught me how to do it.
Essentially, a transference is a very tricky spell that can only be performed on a night of great cosmic significance. Like tonight, with Bailey's Comet approaching.
Speaking of, it's nearly time. Britannia, we witches must spellcast alone. Do you mind?
And they tell Britannica, get out of there. Britannia.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's begin. Our flesh and blood are but a cage that withers as we wear our age. But hark, there is a way to switch to willing souls with one bewitched.
So there, I was going to write the words down, but I didn't. But I did write down the part where they exchange spirits new and old. Okay. So Finn's curse is broken that he put on Abigail. Which lets, I'm going to explain this, lets Abigail go. Which is
I
Nana.
had to rewind the last 5 minutes.
Okay.
Because I didn't
I just paused it because I was writing it down as I was doing it.
Yeah, I was a little confused by what the hopscotch was here.
The transference.
How do you feel, Abigail?
Free. At long last. Finn's curse is
Let go, Abigail. Let go and finally be at peace. Reunite with your dearest Thomasina. Happy, sad endings are the best.
Did Nana Rose pass, Mistress Cheryl?
I'll take this one. Nana Rose's body did die, but not before we transferred her soul into
Mistress Blossom's body?
Yes. And vice versa. It was a classic body swap, Freaky Friday style. But you should know this. There was no Cheryl. Not really. Or there was, but she was also Poppy. And before that, she was Abigail Blossom.
So Cheryl and Poppy and Abigail were all the same person.
Yes.
They were all the same person. So
beginning with the Civil War curse of Abigail.
Yes.
So so they were all Abigail all the time. Okay.
And Nana Rose is just Nana Rose. Right? In this moment.
Yeah.
So
I don't understand.
When the warlock Fen Fogarty died, he cursed Abigail with immortality. To hide that fact, she created the persona of Poppy Blossom, then Cheryl Blossom, so that no one would suspect the truth.
But Abigail was forever haunted by the loss of her first true love, Thomasina. She wanted, more than anything, to be reunited with her.
The only way to do that was to move her soul into a body no longer meant to be in this world. And tonight, that's what we did.
The soul that once inhabited this body, Abigail's soul, has moved on to a peaceful eternity in the sweet hereafter. And now I, Roseanne Blossom, can once again enjoy my precious youth.
And Cheryl, Poppy, Abigail, she's really dead?
No. No. There is no death for witches. Only transformation. I mean, I died and came back.
Abigail was a witch?
She was.
As was Thomasina.
Which we can definitely talk you through. But how about we do it over a milkshake at Pop's?
they do the curse. Oh, I mean before the curse, but then they do the curse, and now they Freaky Friday and put Abigail back, into this old body, and took Nana Rose and put her in Cheryl's body. Right?
That's how I took it.
Yes, that's what happened. Now Cheryl is Nana Rose is in Cheryl, and there was no Cheryl. Cheryl was Abigail. Yeah. Poppy was Abigail.
Yeah.
So it was
now
Nana,
Abigail was in Nana Rose, and she goes off to die.
And Nana gets to be young again. So
yes. Yes.
And gets two good eyes.
Yes.
I feel like the 20-something witch Sabrina Spellman visiting Rivervale from the neighboring township of Greendale summed it up perfectly. Happy sad endings are the best. Enough said?
And then we see that Abigail gets to go. She's in the graveyard with Thomasina and gets to live happily ever after. I don't know how that shit works. But... And then Jug comes and says, happy sad endings are the best. And we get the Riverdale sign again. And this time it says, welcome to Rivervale, 1673. There be witches here.
So this has to be the most Cheryl per square inch we've ever had, right? I mean, she was in pretty much every scene of this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
this
like
is
a
her
full
chance to do it
hour
all.
of Cheryl, yeah. So can't go wrong with that, right?
Yeah. It was There's a lot of good Cheryl in there.
We got more to come, and I, for one, can't wait. So we hope you will join us back when we talk about Riverdale one more time. My name is Jordan Lowe.
Cliff Barnes.
That's us. Bye forever.
Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast, is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during the podcast are property of copyright holders. All original content is property of www.udownwithkpp.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a comment. Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast, can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found. You can connect with us through social media on Facebook, YouTube, at the Ka-Pow Podcast on Twitter, or email the show, Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast at gmail.com. If you really want to go the extra mile, join our Patreon at patreon.com/udownwithkpp for special content and access to Patreon-only benefits. We are grateful for anyone who chooses to contribute, but please know that most of our content will remain free. So please continue to like, comment, and share.